what's going on, everybody? This is GODZILLA coming at you with another video. Wow, 2 videos in a row, huh? I know, you guys are probably shocked. I'm pretty shocked I'm doing this myself too, because I had no intentions on doing a video like this, but it has been quite some time since I have done a review of a figure. Like, it has been a long time since I've done one of these, and I absolutely do miss doing these reviews. But the reason why I'm here today is because I have received my other Supercharged Godzilla today. Now, if you guys remember yesterday, I did an unboxing of this guy, but that was my other one I got, and this guy just came in the mail today. And this guy will be unboxed, and so what we're going to do today is pretty much we're going to do an unboxing to get this guy out, and then we're going to do a full-on review of this guy. And I just thought it would have been a great opportunity to do this guy since he's basically still freshly brand new in the box, and it's basically a new Playmates Godzilla from PLAYMATESTOYS. So yeah, so here he is. First, let's take a look at the packaging. So here we go. Really nice stamp right here that says blockbuster movie Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, I remember back when the figures were first coming out back last year of August, and like we got our first wave, we did not have this stamp on the box for the blockbuster movie, and I think that's because Playmates didn't realize that everyone knew that there was a Godzilla vs. Kong movie coming out, so then they decided to stamp these little square boxes on their boxes and say that it's a blockbuster movie so people can know that it's an actual movie that's been made. But the movie's already been out, but let's continue on. And then you got the Monsterverse logo, and it says Supercharged Godzilla with Fighter Jet, Toho, Legendary, Playmates Toys. And then it got the choking hazard, and then it shows a battle damage reveal, which we'll talk about later. And then you get the figure intact in the box, and then you get a nice artwork done of pretty much the same poster that we've basically seen so many times with Godzilla vs. Kong. Really nice design. And then on the side right here it says Godzilla vs. Kong, and then it's got some like buildings in the background, and it's like all damaged and destroyed. And it's supposed to be in Hong Kong, of course. And then on the back shows you the prototype of the toy of how he looks fully with the tail on and stuff. And then up here you got a little dialogue right here. And then it says right here, harness the awesome power of Godzilla's thunderous roar and devastating tail swipe as the king of the monsters battles Kong to settle an ancient rivalry. Wow, that's pretty cool. And then it says that you can collect all the other figures, and yes, I have this entire set. Now we just gotta wait for the other 2 to come out. That is the Proton Screen Mechagodzilla and the Antarctic Kong, and then we'll pretty much have them all. And I have a feeling that we might get a Mechagodzilla with lights and sound, but we might not see anything leaked for a while, but I can probably bet that we will get one eventually. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get this guy out of the box. So first we're going to take out the tail. And then one thing I've been noticing is, like, with this one, there's not really that much blue paint on the tail as how the other ones were when it came to like this color variant of Godzilla with Playmates, but I think it's better if you ask me, because if you could tell, like, this is all translucent blue and then the rest of the tail is just paint, so like it's kind of like doesn't really match when you put a lot of blue paint down the tail like that. That tie wrap. There's just one strap, so here he is out of the box. Go ahead and pop this tail on. Shouldn't take that long. Or the 6-inch figures with Godzilla, they're not really too easy to, or not too hard to pop on. You just got to put a lot of force on it. So there you go. I got the tail on right there, and I definitely have got to get this jet and stuff out of here. And I definitely got to put this battle damage on, because I will be honest, I am not a fan, definitely not a fan of the battle damage with the figures. I really think it's just not something that was really necessarily that had to be done, but it does make it more playable for kids, but I just don't think it's really necessary, to be honest. But anyway, so the fighter jet is actually somewhat way different compared to the Kong with fighter jet, and it's a different brand new sculpt, and this one has a more brighter silver than how it looks with the the Konglet fighter jet, but we're gonna go ahead and put this battle damage piece on. I gotta see which way it goes on. So basically, you just gotta force this piece into the chest, and then he's completely healed. But yeah, I am just not a fan of these battle damages. I just really would rather have it not there. But then again, it's just for the playability for kids. But I just keep all my battle damages on. I don't even bother taking them off. I just keep them on. And I'm noticing with this one has a pretty loose left thigh joint. It's not as sturdy as this one, but good thing I opened this one. But yeah, here he is. He's completely out, so let's tilt the camera down a little bit. So here he is. Basically, this figure is a brand new sculpt. You could definitely tell it's somewhat different from the other 6-inch Godzillas we've gotten. This one has an upper head just looking up, and makes it different. Gives us a different look of Godzilla from the Playmates line. I do like the pose he's in. It's like he's in a charging position. If you could tell the way his legs are sculpted, it looks like he's just charging. And I don't mind the head being up like this that much. I mean, it's somewhat refreshing. And I do like how they kept the spines like this, because I was not a fan of how the spines looked on the deluxe Battle Roar Godzilla. So at least these are somewhat the same as the Heat Ray Godzilla, which I will compare later on in this review. But yeah, let's go on and get on with the review. So here he is. Detail is really nice. It's not really superior. It's just really like just washed over paint over plastic, and the detail is there, but it just really just looks like a kid's toy if you ask me. But I really do like the head sculpt. I like how long it looks, and I love how like his head really like just comes out like that. It's like he's curving his head. It's like he's like looking at a monster or something like that, from like a monster that might be taller than him or something like that. But definitely nice looking figure. I really like how the head sculpt looks. I like how they curved his head like that. Looks really neat. The spines are nice. I love how they're sculpted, really movie accurate. They're the soft, bendy, like rubbery plastic, so they won't be too sharp if you poke yourself with them. And it's really good for children so they don't hurt themselves while they're playing with the figures. But if you look at that translucent blue, it really does not disappoint. It looks really cool. I just really wish that they would continue the blue translucent down the tail right here instead of making it all paint, but Playmates has been doing that since they did their Heat Ray Godzilla, so not a surprise that they didn't really continue the translucent. But the legs are nicely sculpted. They seem a little short than compared to the other ones, but that's just basically how this figure is meant to be. It's just meant to be in this position, the way Playmate designed it and made it. But to be honest, I really don't mind it. But the one thing that's really bugging me is this really loose joint right here. So sometimes when he slides around, like the leg kind of like swings around sometimes. But the overall look of him, like I do enjoy the sculpt on this one, and I actually do prefer this sculpt, just the way he looks. But I do prefer this one over the Heat Ray Godzilla, because it feels like this guy just looks somewhat more decent and more unique looking, instead of how like the Heat Ray Godzilla was. And this one looks like has more play capability when it comes to this one. But yeah, the articulation, his arms can move. Both arms can move, and like I mentioned before, the hips can move, the legs. He does not have articulation in the ankles, but he does of course have the ball jointed tail right here where you have to connect it in. And if you look closely on the neck, he does have this seam right here, and I thought the head would turn, but unfortunately it's just one piece connected into the figure, so it does not move at all. Oh, and the jaw can open and close, so you can either have his mouth open or closed. One thing would have been a nice plus with this one is that if you look closely inside the mouth, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is no hole in the mouth for an atomic blast part to go in his mouth from Playmates. So I'm pretty sure it could fit, but I'm 100% guaranteed it won't. But It would have been nice if they had the little hole in the mouth so you could put the atomic blast piece in there, but it is what it is though. So I'm gonna go on size comparison and I'll compare them to the other Godzillas that I have. So first I'm gonna compare them with the radio tower Godzilla. Now these two are different when it comes to color, and as you can tell, this Godzilla has more of this like weird blue for his skin, and he's got actually no translucent on his spines. But you could tell the differences with the sculpts for yourselves. You can definitely tell the difference. They're both the same size, but I just feel like that the Supercharged is somewhat bigger when it comes to size and just the way it's sculpted. And I feel like that this one is more better for playability and stuff. And one thing I did notice is that the eyes are painted different on this one as well, so they're not blue like how the Supercharged one is, so that's good. And then next, here is the Heat Ray Godzilla. Now of course these two are somewhat the same just because of the color, but there are some differences. For example, the head sculpts are different. So this one's got an up straight head and it's curved, and then you got this one where it's like just forward and natural or neutral posed. I would say the arms are somewhat the same, like they're in the pretty much same position, but you could definitely tell the Supercharged Godzilla does have smaller like shoulders than this one does. This one just looks like he's got bulkiness in his shoulders and stuff. Legs are differently sculpted, and then the spines are pretty much the exact same, and then when it comes to the tails, they're pretty much different. So it's just basically a different resculpt of the Heat Ray Godzilla, and it's just a different version of it, obviously, as you can tell. And now for a Kong, I will get the Battle Axe Kong. So here is the Kong with the Battle Axe. And like I said, I feel like these two fit way more better because Godzilla looks somewhat larger and actually more towering than Kong compared to Kong. So I feel like these two would really go well together. I really like how these two look together. Really playability for kids. So yeah, it's this guy is like one of those figures that's really good for like taking shots outside and like just for good photography shots and stuff like that. And now this is my first time putting the fighter jet in his hand, and I'm not sure how it's done on the box, but it looks like the bottom part is supposed to be facing like towards us, so like he's supposed to hold the top like this. So yeah, so basically that's how he holds the fighter jet pretty much. So yeah, the detail, well, for the most part, the figure is pretty cool for what it is. I'm really glad we got a different version for the 6-inch Godzilla. I like how they actually like changed with the Heat Ray Godzilla, and they just made it different compared to that one, and they just gave him like some different sculpts here and there, like for example the head, the legs, and the tail, and just pretty much just how different he looked compared to the other two. And I really do dig the look of it. I just really wish it would have came with an atomic breath piece, like how they did with their Heat Ray Godzilla, since it's supposed to be called a supercharged Godzilla. So like, and I'm pretty much 100% sure that this figure is supposed to be based off on the one scene where Godzilla arrives in Hong Kong and then he charges up his whole entire nuclear energy to blow down into the hollow earth. Because you could literally just take a camera and face it upward where his head is looking up, and you could just basically recreate the hollow earth nuclear blast part. So that's basically what this figure is supposed to represent, because it says supercharged Godzilla, and when Godzilla fully charges up his nuclear energy for when he blows down the hollow earth, that's pretty much what it's supposed to be based off on, if you could just figure it out yourself. But yeah, my final thoughts: it's cool. It's definitely better than the Heat Ray, just because of how the sculpt looks. I really do dig it. Detail is somewhat the same with the sculpt. Paint job is pretty much the exact same when it comes to the Heat Ray Godzilla. I would probably give this figure a nice, probably like 7 out of 10. I think it's really cool. I think kids would love it. I already like it for what it is. It's a nice brand new sculpt, and it's a nice refreshing figure for us. And I definitely cannot wait for the new 2 figures that we're coming out with the Proton Screen Mecha Godzilla, and along with the Antarctic Kong. So I'll be definitely picking up those 2 when they're available in Walmarts. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review of the Supercharged Godzilla. This was my review for it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.